We got representatives from the White Panthers out here with us from the Indiana chapter. We got the Brown Berets, a bunch of other people are starting to show up. So we're getting ready to start soon. The New Era Young Lords were out here. So we should be starting soon for all of those tuning in. Here, Johnny. You could take that one. It's the Free the Kids one that they gave us.
Yeah, give them blowjob to all. Give them blowjob to all. Give them blowjob to all. Right. We cannot have children. We cannot have children. We cannot live a normal life.
That's how I celebrate August.
Yo vengo de Indiana, vengo en solidaridad con todos ustedes, porque somos hermanos, no importa qué, no importa de dónde, somos hermanos. Y estamos luchando por una misma causa, por la libertad de nuestra gente, por la libertad de nuestros niños. Yo pertenezco al movimiento Cortés Indiana, nosotros luchamos por la licencia para los indocumentados en el estado de Indiana. Que la tuvimos años atrás y por las ganas de ellos nos la quitaron. ¿Cómo es posible que nos den trabajo y no nos den una licencia para poder manejar con dignidad? Andamos luchando por todos los inmigrantes, por dignidad, respeto. Licencias hoy y papeles mañana. Estamos en unión con ustedes para poder hacer algo por estos niños que en realidad son inocentes, que no saben ni qué está pasando, que los separan de sus padres. Todo comienza desde la frontera. Llegar ahí empieza una separación. Cuando para todos los estados, los niños llorando buscando por sus familiares, y no es posible que el gobierno siga en esto. Tenemos que hacer la diferencia, tenemos que apoyar y tenemos que hacer algo por esos niños. Y aquí estamos presentes como cosechas, cualquier este movimiento y cualquier organización que sea para el bienestar de nuestra gente. Gracias.
Yeah.
Grab the flag.
Everybody that taking that now we're going to have Commander Hulk from Royal Black Panther.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
I love this. You repeat after me. Black power for black people.
Black power for black people.
Brown power for brown people.
Brown power for brown people.
White power for white people.
White power for white people.
And yellow power for yellow people.
Yellow power for yellow people.
And all power to all the people.
All power to all the people.
We're here today and standing in unity to speak about the children that's locked up in cages. We are not going for no more organized pimping. We know the deck is stacked with 13 jokers, 12 white jurors and 1 white judge. No more housing our people in the house of fallen cards, the metal Rubik's Cube. We are here to take a stand. Today is an honor day to be here, unified with my people. To have my mom here for the first time is an honor. Give my mom a hand. And let me give a shout out to my mom. 1978, my beloved mother worked with the Honorable Angela Davis for prison reform. Today I stand here doing her same job so many years later, fighting for prison reform. It's an honor. April 4th, 1969 is when Bob Lee, right here on the north side of Chicago, created the Coalition Party with Fred Hampton, Cha-Cha, and Hyde Thurman. They set the pace for us. We have the blueprint. All we have to do is utilize it. We must stand in unity and fight the powers that be. If we don't, a house divided against itself will surely fall. We are here to take a stand for our babies. My son is your son. Your son is my son. My daughter is your daughter. And your daughter is my daughter. No one will divide us again. It's a new day in the revolution. All power to the people.
All power to the
All
people.
power to the people.
All power to the people.
Thank you, Comrade Hook. Thank you very much. Now we're going to have Rabbi Michael Bellosa from Chicago Activist Coalition for Justice.
Rabbi. Because I'll probably be up next.
Peace and blessings to the world and those who stand in their prayer. My name is Rabbi Michael Bellosa, President of Tikkun Kai International and the founder of Chicago Activist Coalition for Justice. I stand here in unity with my familia. I stand here
I wanted to go live on mine while you
with a heavy heart
I'm gonna push you on Instagram.
because kids are in cages.
Stay live on this, okay?
Let's talk about the injustice. Treating our people like animals. 3 administrations kept our children in cages. Very right. 4,500 children have been sexually assaulted by vigilantes, and not one of them have been brought to charges to be registered as a sex offender. Very right. 3,000 children have been misplaced. And these disgusting detention centers are nothing more than concentration camps. Let's call this exactly the way it is. I voted for Barack Obama. All of us did. But he failed you. He kept that disgusting disgrace open. Having our children in cages, suffering like animals, giving them not proper medication, not feeding them. And one image that sticks in my mind is when that baby stood in front of the judge in a big old courthouse, defending his life to stay in this disgusting country. I'm the only one that calls the world's greatest terrorist a terrorist. And I need you to stand with me to call this what it is. It's terrorism to put our children in cages. I want you to understand I stand with you. And anytime you need me, to my colleagues and my comrades Berets and all those who are here, you got an ally in the rabbi. I'll go to jail for you. I'll even die for you to ensure that your name and this injustice comes to an end. Before I close, I want to say one thing that I love always ending with. And that's from a black sister. Her name is Ashanta Shakur. And she gave us a teaching for all of us to always understand what this fight is about. We got to stay in the streets until these cages are no more. And I'm going to read it. I want you guys to repeat after me. It is our duty to fight. Y'all ain't saying it loud enough and confident with me. It is our duty to fight.
It is our duty to fight
For our freedom.
for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
Our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other. We must love each other.
We must love each other.
We must love each other.
We must love each other
And support each other.
and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our change.
We have nothing to lose but our cage.
We have nothing to lose but our change.
We have nothing to lose but our cage.
We have nothing to lose but our change.
We have nothing to lose but our
God
cage.
bless you and keep you, and please stay on this fight and never waver. God bless you all. Thank you. God bless.
Matthew Rabbi. Okay, now we're going to have from the New Era Young Lords from Chicago, our comrade and brother Paul Mirami.
What's going on, bro? What's up, brother? Coming up? Thank you, everybody, for coming. Can you hold this for me? I could take that. When I got the call from our comrades here to come and stand against these atrocities of these kids locked in cages, we jumped at that opportunity to be able to stand here in solidarity with the organizations that are here is amazing. We had a little history lesson earlier today about how the coalition parties started here back in the 60s. Thank you, comrades. And it's an honor to be sitting here again, standing here representing the New Era Young Lords, standing with the White Panthers and the Brown Berets and the Panthers and everybody else that came out here to get these kids out of these cages. It's an amazing, amazing day. I'm very proud and honored to be standing here following some very passionate and beautiful speeches. What can I say that hasn't been said? All I know is that we need to continue to fight. We have been fighting this under 3 administrations like we had already heard. We also know that since the new administration, a lot of voices have gone quiet on this topic. People are pretending like, oh, now that Trump is out of office, this is stopped. And we know that that is not true. We know that we got to keep on pushing this agenda until these kids are reunited with their families, until they're home safe. And then on top of that, we got to make sure that they have treatment. These are extremely valuable time in a child's development. And to be stripped from their parents and forced into these cages, the trauma, the PTSD, the anxiety. We wouldn't do this to animals, but yet we're doing this to black and brown babies. Where is the justice in that? So not only do we need to make sure that these kids are reunited, we also need to hold the administrations and the people responsible for these atrocities. We need to make sure that they continue to find ways to support and provide resources for these kids so that they don't suffer in torment mental anxieties and traumas that they're exposed to because of this. It wasn't their fault. They came here looking for land of opportunity. But us, we already know there is no land of opportunity here.
Stolen land.
Not on stolen land. Exactly. And they turn around and call us the immigrants and the migrants. These are our sacred migration routes from our ancestors. These are our people. These are our lands. Thank you. That's all I have to say. Thank you. All power to the people.
Pa'lante, pa'lante, say, pa'lante. That's right. Now we're going to have one of the pioneers of this movement, Rosalinda. Inspired a lot of us.
I'm no pioneer, man. Pioneers are colonizers. None of us are pioneers, man.
You're an innovator.
What's my sign? Okay, so my sign that my friend made says, Heartland, I same shit twice. And I think what we mean by that is that we all understand that ICE is an enforcement agency that criminalizes poor folks of color, colonized people, for moving, for the sacred right to move and determine their own lives. Yes. Because ICE sure doesn't criminalize rich white tourists when they want to go anywhere. But what we may not know is that so-called humanitarian organizations like Heartland Alliance are actually in the same business as ICE. And we don't know that not because we're ignorant. We don't know that not because we've done something wrong. We don't know that because in 2008, an enormous propaganda machine has been at
we got the
work
cops out here.
to rebrand child detention as a form of shelter. They've changed the name of it. They've changed the kind of agencies that supervise it. They've changed the facade of the facilities. And you'll see today, we won't see buildings that look like cages, y'all. If you expect to see something that looks terrible from the outside, your hopes might get crushed, because these places look nice. These places look like nice middle-class households. And they're sheltered, and they're hidden in plain sight in nice middle-class neighborhoods. So that we might walk by them every day, and we might assume that what's in there is actually a humanitarian agency providing shelter. Until you look into it. These kids are not alone. They don't come alone. They come because they have loved ones and communities here. And when they're intercepted, the priority of ICE and Heartland is not to reunite them with their families. The priority of the federal government is to investigate the families. So they lock these kids up in the so-called shelters, while Heartland does the dirty job of the government of investigating the families, calling the parents and saying, is it true you have a kid whose name is Juan and who's 7? We won't tell you where Juan is, but don't worry, he's doing just fine. If you turn over your biometrics, if you turn over all your information, if you submit to our investigation for Juan's good, then we'll make sure that you might get your kid back. You cannot know the city that he's in. You cannot know the street that he's on. The child cannot know this. They are kept in these buildings without knowing where they are. The youth in one of the facilities today that we're going to see, we don't know who's held there now because they won't tell us shit. We have to spy. We have to look. We have to stay up all night and peer through the windows and guess. What kind of kids do they have? What ages are these children? But we know that until last year, we heard from employees who turned whistleblowers, and we heard from brave survivors, young kids who left these places and survived them and spoke out, and then told us that one of the facilities we'll see today is for so-called high-risk youth, for the bad kids, the kids who were trouble, because they had some kind of police involvement, or because they tried to run away, or because they didn't obey. So because they were trouble, they got stepped up. This facility looks like a nice building. Okay? This is what we're up against. We're up against a system that talks about saving children by kidnapping them. Is this such a new story? Or is this an old colonial story? Of the founding of this nation? This is the old story of kidnapping indigenous, black, brown, Asian, women, poor children from their people and forcefully assimilating them under the guise of humanitarian help. Guess who else in Chicago runs these facilities? Who else? The Catholic Archdiocese, that's who! Right? Are we supposed to be surprised that these children are abused? Are we supposed to be surprised that these children suffer? But you know what the problem is? The whole thing is abuse. Not being told where you are is abuse. Not being allowed to call your parents. Your parents and loved ones being told you cannot know where they are and you cannot visit them. Every prisoner in this country has the right to visitation. Guess who doesn't have the right to visitation? It's those little inmates that we're going to go sing for today. They can hear us. They may not be able to come to the windows. They damn sure won't let them come to the windows. They can hear us. They've told us time and time again. Even if one person stands on the sidewalk and shouts, we hear that. Every day, if you're in Rogers Park and you walk on Morse and you walk on Chase Avenue, please, just walk on by. You don't even have to stop. You can just shout. Say the kid! Just do it once. Just do a song. Do anything. They will hear that. And today, we're going to make so much damn noise. And I'm so honored to see that there's folks who are bringing ceremony here. I'm sorry to take so long. But I just wanted for us to not be too stunned by the illusion, the image that we're going to see. The facade that we're going to see might be hard to go up against, you know? How do you look at something that looks like a nice house and see it for what it is, you know? Most of the children, of the 300,000 children who have been detained since 2008, more than 50% of them are from Central America. Most of the children from Central American countries who are not from urban centers are indigenous children. They're Mayan kids in the highest majority. So the presence of the Bantantes here today is not just because they understand and we understand that we're on stolen land and this continues. This is also extremely meaningful because the youth inside, many of them don't speak a lick of Spanish. Although they come from Guatemala and Honduras. You know? Because they come from indigenous communities. And they're forced to be Hispanic, and they're forced to assimilate into American culture. Right? So they're doubly colonized.
Yep.
So it's a huge honor to be here. There are a lot of community groups, solidarity networks, autonomous groups of friends and neighbors, anarchist groups. There's a lot of people who've been meeting and fighting and struggling with this, and we've had a great relationship with the Brown Berets. And it's such an honor to be here and see all of you, and thank you so much.
Woo!
Thank you, Linda. I'm sorry about how to call you, but I want to call you a beautiful heart that inspires a lot of us. Okay, now we're going to have some food, not bombs, and brother Air. How you doing?
Oh, food not.
All right, how's everybody doing? So we got we're about to start Food Not Bombs. We got a bunch of us here. We're really honored that the Brown Berets reached out and asked us to be part of this. We say free the kids, free the adults, free everybody. We've been going to these places for years and we're going to continue. I want to invite everybody also to participate every Sunday. We share food in Riley White Park on Howard and Ashland from 11 to 1. And then from 1 to 3 under the red line on Falwell. Also under the red line on Falwell, we work with the P.O. Box Collective and maintain a memorial for people of color who've lost their lives to police violence. So also people are welcome to come there from 11 to 1 and 2 on Sunday. And participate and help keep the memorial or add to it in any way, shape, or form.
one little story I just want to say is I'm just so honored to be in a row with people like the Brown Berets and all the people here because I know we're not going to quit. Just one little story is behind us, you see there's a tent city. 10 days ago, the police came and evicted the tent city and confiscated all their tents. Well, the community organized, Not Bombs, other people in the community, we organized. We got tents for them that night, and now you see more tents there now than there was 10 days ago. So we're never going to stop. I'm really honored, we're all really honored to be here. And hasta la victoria y hasta un mundo sin fronteras y sin límites.
Gracias, hermano, gracias. Now we're going to have from Boricua Resistance, brothers that will be working together for a while, and we know they stand for the right thing and for justice. We have Emily and Isa.
Hello, thank you for having us. We're going to tag team this in English and Spanish. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, as all of you here, we believe in speaking out against the inhumane treatment these children are currently facing. Seeking refuge, asylum, and migration should not be met with violence. Families should not be separated. We join you in this fight against the settler colonial nonsense and imperialist disregard, which is at its core cause for the crisis we are currently facing.
Como todos ustedes saben, creemos en hablar en contra del trato inhumano de los niños que los niños están enfrentando actualmente. La búsqueda de refugio, asilo y migración no debe ser enfrentada con violencia. Las familias no deben ser separadas. Nos sumamos a la lucha contra este sinsentido colonial y del desprecio imperialista. Esta causa principalmente, es la causa principal de la crisis que enfrentamos actualmente. Los derechos de inmigración son derechos humanos.
Immigration rights are human rights. People should feel safe and supported when migrating. There should be options, not barriers. ICE is just an arm of the white supremacist colonial control played into blindly and followed by these conditions. You know, like, anyway. They do not see us as equal and will not make any concession to our children now in cages. This fight is important, it is just, and cannot wait. And Chicago Boricua Resistance believes what affects you affects us, and know that you have our solidarity.
Las personas deben sentirse seguras y respaldadas al migrar. Deben haber opciones, no barreras. Este es solo un brazo del control colonial de la supremacía blanca. Es un juego sin sentido que ciegamente juegan los alienados. No nos ven como iguales y no habrán concesiones hacia los niños enjaulados. Esta pelea es importante, es justa y no puede esperar. Chicago Boricua Resistance cree que lo que le afecta a ustedes nos afecta a nosotros y a nosotras. Y sepan que tienen toda nuestra solidaridad. Venceremos.
Thank you.
Pa'lante, pa'lante.
Pa'lante.
Para atrás mi tomando impulso, pa'lante. That's right. Okay, now I'm going to have Jake from the White Panthers of Indiana. Thank you.
So I want to ask you all, what do we got here today? And I want you to repeat after me, okay? We got boots on the ground.
We got boots on the ground.
What do we got here today?
Boots on the ground.
What do we got?
Boots on the ground.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
What do we got?
All boots on the ground.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
I want to ask you all a question. Chairman Fred Hampton, how old was he when he was killed? 21 years old. They do fight time and time again against the racist, classist, imperialist system of the U.S. It is a system built by white people for white people.
Preach.
Those kids in cages, they're not the wealthy kids. The wealthy kids get the privileges of being able to get around the police state that we have in this country. This is symptomatic of a wider issue. It is a part of the class war. The politicians in this country, the ruling class, they are in bed with the corporations, and they benefit off of this materially. The imprisonment of children. I see a lot of white allies here today. It is up to you, it's up to us to reconstruct our racist, imperialist, colonial culture. Only when we do that can we truly stand in solidarity with the oppressed peoples of this world. I want you all to know that the White Panther Party will be working to do that every day. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
What do we got?
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground!
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground!
Boots on the ground.
What do we got?
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground!
Boots on the ground.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Oh man, we got so much quality today. Now we have in mass from Huehuecoyot, Ana, from the Lanzantes.
Cometeos, Plazo Camati, thank you, gracias a todos los que están aquí presentes. I thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of my Calpuli, Huehuecoyot. We are an Aztec dance group from Northwest Indiana and Chicago. Here with us are Freddy with his danzantes too, which are from a very, very old mesa from Mexico, from a long lineage of danzantes that dates from 500 years ago, a legit heir of this tradition, and the people that support them. We had a ceremony. We come from a ceremony. We had a velación. You stay up all night and then you get up and dance. The next day, we had a danza on the next day. This is to commemorate the fight for Mexico Tenochtitlan. August 13th marked 500 years since our country was taken, stolen, raped. 500 years exactly. It's not a coincidence that all of us are here today. I mention this because this is where it all started. 500 years we've been in this fight, and we'll continue to be in it until there's people, for as long as there's people that profit from people suffering, that profit from the weak, from our children. I also want to honor the Brown Berets, the Black Panthers, the Young Lords, the White Panthers, and all the other organizations that form this network, this strong network of resistance, and for allowing us to be here. We thank you. I also want to share with you that I came here as I am, free, without asking for permission. When I was a child, my mom made 2 trips to get 5 children here. It took her 1 year to raise the money to pay for the coyote, to gather her family. And she wasn't stopped, and we won't be stopped. I pray for the children that need us right now. They know we're with them, and we must remain strong to keep fighting. We're gonna do a danza. We're gonna open to the 4 directions. We ask you to join us. We're asking the universe for permission to do our prayer. We ask nature and the forces of it to guide us through our movements, through our everyday life. I'm sorry I can't find the words. I'm trying to clear my mind.
just makes me angry because I have friends and family that have to tell their children that they could be separated. Our kids have to go through that trauma. It affects our everyday life. But the love that I feel for my people, the love that we feel for our people is stronger. And we will continue to fight. And we appreciate that you're all here. And we will be more. There will be a day where people will be more important than spending a day in a concert. Oh, Mateo.
Nuestro Camati, a nuestros hermanitos, compadres, comadres, danzantes. ¿Hay alguien que quiera decir unas palabras? ¿Alguien más? If someone else wants to say something in the mic. If not, oh, okay. Come back from Lords Black Panther, Milwaukee. He's here, all the way from there. Of course.
Hey, brothers, how you guys doing? Good. So, as I was listening to our sister right now, I was not planning to speak today at all. But that hit really close to home. I came here as an undocumented immigrant. And it ain't easy, guys. It ain't easy to be here, leaving your family behind, having kids here, and have to decide whether you have to stay here with your kids to go see your parents. This is real. People don't see that, but it is real. I haven't seen my parents for over 30 years. So people need to know this thing. People need to know. We need to stick together. We don't got nobody else. We need to stick all of us together. We gotta do something, guys. I can imagine. I have 3 beautiful daughters, and I can imagine being grabbed and being put away from my daughter. I can imagine how would they feel, no matter how beautiful the house is, no matter how beautiful the building they make it to look. How would they feel without me? How would they feel without their mother? It's not about commodity. It's not about a place to stay. It's about to stay in a place with your family. It's about unity with your family. That's what it is about. So we need to keep pushing, guys. That's all I have to say. Love.
Love.
Now, the danzantes want to do a circle here. So I don't know if you can move back a little bit. I don't know, move back this too.